What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's your boy LG. I got a new one. So today, what's going on today? Well, it looks like Iran has shot down one of our jets. Now, I haven't watched this yet, so I'm going to be watching it for the first time with you. Let's see what we got here. Let's see why they shot our jet down.
Normally in this aircraft, there is a pilot in the front seat and a weapons systems officer in the...
Wait, did we miss something there? Hold on.
Normally in this aircraft, there is a pilot in the front seat and a weapons systems officer in the back seat. It has been more than 12 hours since Iran released images that they said were of the F-15. This have not been independently verified, but they appear to be credible images from what they say was the crash of that F-15. The U.S. official has also confirmed.
I mean, you never know what to believe right now. Literally on X, literally on Instagram, on YouTube, there is fake shit everywhere. So do me a favor, guys. Don't believe anything that you freaking see anymore. It's that time. We all knew it was going to come. It is that time now. You cannot believe anything that you see. You can't believe anything that you see. It's all fucking fake. So let's keep watching.
Confirmed that the jet was indeed shot down. This was hostile enemy fire. Now,
again, I'm looking at that right now. That doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, and that's how I think we all have to proceed. I mean, so many conspiracy theories over the years have turned out to be true. I mean, look at it. In the last 5 to 10 years, aliens, FBI trying to sabotage Trump, his first election. And I'm not saying I'm, all the way pro-Trump. I'm just saying that, the Epstein case, guards sleeping, video goes down. I mean, and there were I feel like there were a couple of other variables that just all somehow seem to sync up. How is that even possible?
All of these pilots and crew members, the weapons systems officer, are trained in what is called SEER, and that is survive, evade, resist, and escape. So wherever that other crew member is, and certainly hopefully that crew member is alive and well.
I don't want to be that crew member, guys. Alive and well in Iran, a U.S. pilot? Yeah, okay.
They will know what to do. They will know to try and hide, to try and evade capture. Also, because it's been 12 hours, the Iranians are taunting the U.S. about shooting down a jet, but there has been no confirmation in any way that they actually captured that second crew member. So that is good news so far as well. But the good news here right now is that at least one of those crew members has been rescued, according to a U.S. official. Diane.
Yeah, that's really good. And I want to bring in ABC News military analyst, former Marine Corps fighter pilot, Colonel Steve Ganyard, for more. Colonel Ganyard, how does this search and rescue mission...
Former fighter pilot, this should be good.
...change now that one crew member is rescued?
Makes it much more difficult, Dan. The F-15E, as Martha was alluding to, is a tandem seat, so it's front and back. And so when there's an ejection, the weapons systems officer in the back seat goes out first, and then the pilot for deconfliction, so they don't hit each other as they eject. So in this case, they shouldn't have been very far away. So that's what's concerning, is that they were able to pick up one, but either couldn't find or get to the other pilot. We do see that at least...
Can you imagine if you were hiding and you saw them pick up one and then you knew that they left without you? That has to be horrible. But, my props go out to our armed forces. These guys are, the toughest people in society. They train for all of this. They're used to harsh conditions. That's why the military is so great. That's why basic training, all those things are so difficult. Look, I went to military school. I know. I was shipped off to military school at 15 to the West Point of the West, New Mexico Military Institute in old Roswell, New Mexico. And it was pure hell. Hazing, PT early in the morning, physical training, eating square meals, not able to look at your fork, having to go outside your room and ask for permission by yelling to one of the officers on the stoop or the sidewalk just to use the bathroom. I had naked upperclassmen outside of the shower while I was showering, yelling at me to come out and do push-ups with them naked. It's crazy. But this is what, I mean, minus the hazing, I think that more or less goes on more in the schools than it does in the actual armed services, unless you're somebody who really does not pull your weight, from what I've heard, really does not pull your weight or does something to screw everybody else over. Then I think they sometimes take matters into their own hands, all your other corpsmen.
Well, it appears to be the location of where the aircraft went down looks to be very rugged terrain, so that may have played into it. But now that the Iranians know we have one and there may be still another out there, they're going to be looking for them, as will most of the military will be focused on rescuing that second aviator.
Let's go to ABC's Selena Wang at the White House. Selena, just 2 days ago, the president said Iran had no air defense capabilities. So what does this mean for the administration now that Iran has shown it can still shoot down a U.S. fighter jet?
Well, it certainly puts the president in a difficult position, Diane.
I mean, how hard is it to shoot down a fighter jet? I guess you have to have really good tactical weapons. Fighter jets going at super fast speeds. You got to have something that can track it. So I guess they still have some pretty good technology. As we already talked about Trump on his State of the Union was talking about blowing them back into the Stone Ages. So what a sad state of affairs, to be honest. What a sad state of affairs.
We are still waiting to hear directly from the president about this situation. What we do know from the White House is that President Trump has been briefed, but no official on the record statement from the president himself. And to your point, this comes as this administration has been repeatedly touting that the U.S. has essentially decimated the entire Iranian regime as well as its military. The president, in his first primetime address to Americans since the war began, said that Iran has no anti-aircraft equipment, no.
That was a lie. They obviously have anti-aircraft equipment. Who's giving it to them? And what do we do? I mean, it's a giant game of chess, right? Because what if Russia's giving them any aircraft equipment? Then, I mean, the level of patience, the level of, as Bush would have said, strategery you have to have to engage with these other political leaders. It's amazing.
Navy, its Air Force is in ruins. This administration making it clear that the U.S. essentially controls the skies over Iran. But what we are seeing, Diane, is that despite the sustained U.S. assault heavy bombing, that Iran is still able to maneuver and inflict real pain and damage here. And when it comes to the impact on American service members, so far since this war began, 13 American service members have been killed, and at least 340 U.S. service members have been wounded so far. All of this against the backdrop of President Trump 5 weeks into this war.
I wonder how badly wounded too. Like, they should differentiate that. How many have actually been wounded to where they've lost a leg or an arm? I mean, it's not the same as dying, but it's definitely different than a injury you can recover completely from. Although now with robots and androids and everything, it's not the same as having a human appendage, but it's not going to be long, folks, and before we get losing an arm will be so different than losing an arm 20 or 30 years ago. I mean, it's already here, but
plan or off ramp to how all of this is going to end.
And ABC's Britt Clennett is in Jerusalem. Britt, just a little while ago, as Martha mentioned, Iran's parliament speaker was taunting the U.S. on social media. What does this incident mean for diplomatic efforts between the U.S. and Iran?
Yeah, he took to social media saying that after defeating Iran 37 times in a row, this brilliant no-strategy war they started has now been downgraded from regime change to can anyone find our pilots, please? Wow, what incredible progress. Absolute geniuses. You know, Iran knows this is not a popular war at home.
So I guess I guess we're one step away from actually working with Iran. That's what she said. That's what it would have me to believe, is that we've changed the regime twice. In other words, we took out their first leader, who, by the way, apparently was ready to die, and he took all his family, took a lot of his family members with him. What a coward. And then, I mean, and I just wonder what his kids and wife, or who all was there, was saying. You know, we'll go down with you. That is crazy. The fact that in the United States we appreciate our lives so much, I mean, you wouldn't know it to look at the streets of some of our biggest cities and how much shooting and stuff is going on in there. But the fact that people are so willing to die to try and make change, crazy.
And abroad, that even America's NATO allies are growing increasingly frustrated with the mixed messages, the lack of clarity on war aims, and the apparent failure to war game the outcomes, such as preparing for the closure of the Hormuz Strait, one of the most important waterways in the world, through which 1/5 of the global oil supply.
If you haven't seen it yet either, guys, there's a viral video going on right now where this guy he asks people, I don't know if it's Times Square in New York City, but he's asking people. So we're looking out for not the Straits of Hormuz, but the gays of Hormuz. And what's so funny is a lot of people that he talks to, they're actually biting, and they're actually saying, he's saying, well, what about not the Straits of Hormuz, the gays of Hormuz? Why do you think they don't have representation? And then people answer it seriously. It's crazy. It's so bizarre how now we live in a time where political correctness is so important. Everybody, I guess, just values their peace so much. They don't want any stray thoughts, almost at the expense of I don't know. It's just crazy to me how speaking in a way that doesn't disrespect anybody, even with catastrophic scenarios, is so prevalent right now.
Flows through, and as you say, they're still able to fire on a daily basis at multiple targets. So certainly it does raise a lot of questions and frustrations too.
And Martha, we heard Colonel Gagnon talk about how complicated this search and rescue mission is. How does it now complicate the other aspects and objectives in this war?
Well, I think all efforts will be on finding this other aviator, and that will take away from whatever else they're doing. This will clearly be a huge priority right now to try to find that other either pilot or weapons systems officer. We don't know which one was rescued and which one is still out there.
And I'm going to keep you guys posted. As soon as I see something, I'm going to stream it. So I'll let you know as soon as I know, guys. Staying tuned every day.
I keep thinking about the families waiting as well, because
it's like a real life action movie. I can't imagine. I mean, I've been out survival camping before under certain scenarios where I've been dropped off in the middle of the woods and told that I need to find. So it was like a Boy Scouting thing where it was some kind of extra credit within scouting where in order to get into the special club within scouts, you had to basically get kidnapped and then dropped off in the woods and not speak for a day or two and just get dropped off with nothing and survive. But I can't, and obviously there's, wild animals out there, but this is hostile terrain. Not to mention the craziness of getting out of a plane as it's going down.
These missions are incredibly dangerous. These combat search and rescue, they involve special operations, helicopters usually. And remember, just as we've all been saying, Iran can still fire back, and that is very obvious from what has happened in the last 12 hours.
Right now, taking a live look over the city of Milwaukee at this.
Well, guys, there you have it. There's the news on the downed fighter jet over Iran. Hopefully we're going to get our boy back. and I'll keep you guys up to date. So I'm going to be doing some more drops tonight, talking about what else is going on. So stay tuned for that, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys. Chunk the deuce.